Hi, YouTube. Welcome back to Brown Girl Blue. My name is Tabitha, and I am talking about my little book of childhood Jehovah's Witness memories. So, today I am going to be talking about the anxiety that you have when you are raised under a structure where you're waiting for the world to constantly end. So I remember we were always taught about the end of the world, the final great battle between God and Satan, between God's system and Satan's worldly system, and how we were on the battleground of that. And always happened to be prepared of when the world will just blow up and what do you do? uh, Being able to be prepared for when everything we know about society, our communities are just gone. And the only ones who are left are those who God deems fit. And we were taught that the ones who were deemed fit would be Jehovah's Witnesses. And there are more, levels of understanding about that. But I don't want to go into all that. I'm just going to share that we were always under the threat that the world was going to end and how that impacts your connection with your life. So there's some controversy there's some understanding, let me put it that way, that some people believe that the organization that leads the Jehovah's Witness religion gave counsel in regards to advanced education that you could go to college, but there were all these warnings about the unknown and what could possibly happen to your children if you send them to college. And there are some who remember that we were just told flat out, you can't go to college. I remember more of the latter, that it just wasn't something that was encouraged. It was actually discouraged to go to extend your professional or your collegiate career, whether it be in a 4-year university or you if you and also if you already had your degree that said you came into religion, not being encouraged to do anymore. That's what that was my experience. One example is I was accepted to go to a university of my choice when I graduated high school. I wanted to go into medicine, always wanted to go into medicine. And so I was accepted into a pre-med program. And my mother, I can remember very clearly that she snatched my acceptance letter out of my hand and ripped it into many pieces and said that that is not within Jehovah's will for you. And so that is not going to happen. And when I look back at that time, I was a young adult. I was 18 years old. But when your mind is captured by a way of thinking, you don't realize that you're free to do as you want. And so I complied, and I didn't go to the university of my choice. I took a plea deal with my with my father, and attended a 2-year community college that was closer to our home. Eventually, I was able to find my way back to university and complete both my 4-year and master's degree as well. Excuse me. It did take some time, but I did finally get that completed. But to speak to just the fear of living a life where you don't know if this world's going to be here tomorrow, because we don't know when the world's going to end. We just know that it is. So decisions to what kind of house you're going to buy, what kind of job that you want to pursue, saving for retirement. I was looking at some other channels where there was talking about where people just a few years ago just started saving for their retirement. And, that's a common thing. I even had that same concept when I got my first job. I'm not really worrying about the future because the world may not even be here. So what is the point? It did take me some rethinking, some cognitive behavior therapy to help me let go of that twisted thinking, to just realize that, hey, I'm here while I'm here, and my life is here for me to enjoy while I am here, and to, to have a better plan as an adult individual. So this is a kind of thinking of when you're growing up under that, you don't know if the next day is going to come. It does implant it does implant instability to where you just don't feel safe because you don't know what's going on, and you're not taught how to put down roots or make plans to where that you can sustain your life when you enter the adult world, and just kind of having a long game plan. And even now, there's sometimes where I'll have to talk to myself, say, wait a minute, stop. We need to make sure that we're planning for this, and really get out of that it doesn't matter type of understanding that I had when I was younger. And so much anxiety as well of thinking that something is going to end any moment. It's a lot of anxiety associated with that. And I have definitely had my fair share of experiences with anxiety and just being nervous and just not knowing what to expect. That is not a good situation for anyone to be subject to, especially someone that is a child and they're going through, regular human development, to have a better grasp on what the world has to offer. And also just their engagement with world. They're making friends. Very difficult for me to make friends. One, because we had the Jehovah's Witness criteria where you weren't a Jehovah's Witness kid, you weren't even considered for friendship anyway. And even within the Jehovah's Witness society, or Jehovah's Witness community, there was still not a lot of collaboration with that as far as friendship development. I can't even think of, I didn't have any true friends as a kid. They were all considered to be associates. I just didn't have that. That when you not even watch movies, but I just watch other kids in my school to where they would go to these homes for like a birthday party, or maybe the parents had something going on. They would invite the kids over. They would play games, and I did not experience that. Mine was always of isolation, and that those children and their worldly ways would just I would be affected by that. That was the thought. Like, no, you can't hang out with them because you'll pick up on their worldly ways. And that really didn't make sense to me what worldly ways meant, because the kids were doing the same thing I was doing. We went to school, we did our homework, we played on the playground, we went home and did regular at home stuff. So I didn't really see any worldly ways, and unless you call that being human, they were being human. So just having that clear line of demarcation that was set between myself and others just created a very lonely space for me. And I always felt like I did not belong. Like I was just out of place. I was out of sync. And that feeling, to have that when you're growing up, where you're not part of something, whatever that community is, be part of that. That's pretty important for human development. And the just the environment that I was in, both for home as well as, the religious component of that further compounded those things are going at home. It just did not make for a fun experience. I long to do extracurricular activities at school. I always loved school. I'm really good with my education and my academic background. I got good grades, or I received good grades. But I also wanted to be part of, sports, or going to school dance, just book clubs. I wanted to do extra stuff because I really liked the school environment, and none of that was allowed for me. And it just further advanced my feelings of being alone, not being able to develop, not being able to learn how to develop healthy relationships that carries over into your adult life. And I bring it all back to just having that overarching theme of that the world would end any moment, and we don't know when it's going to end, but guarantee it's going to end. You just have this understanding that Why even bother? Why is that even important to you to have friends? Why is it important for you to follow your dreams of what you want to do in this world? Because this world wasn't meant to last. It's going to end. To be under that, to grow up under that, and to have that be your guiding light, that everything around you doesn't matter. How do you form connections? Well, it's very difficult. So I'm happy to say, with therapy and time and patience and grace, and also communicating with others who had a similar path as I did with the Jehovah's Witness experience, has been very helpful with my own healing and my own development, and letting go of those fears, those irrational fears, and learning to love and enjoy life. So if you have that experience, and I know if you were raised in Joseph's religion, you definitely did. That was a common expectation, to always be prepared for the world to end. And you see how that affected you. Please share with me in the comments what you have been doing to help yourself heal from that. And just know that, we are here. We are survivors. Life is beautiful. Life can be beautiful for you. And we're here, and we made it. So I'm so glad to be here. Can you believe I've been posting videos for 1 week. It's Sunday, and this is my 1 week of posting videos about my memories of my being raised as a kid in Jehovah's religion and my experiences with that. And also, I'm going to start talking more about the other side of that. So again, thank you for sticking with me for this week. There are much more of the story to come. So please stay tuned. So I'll see you next time. Have a good day.